It's disappointing, to lose a football game. The thing I can tell you is, I will say our guys played with great effort. I thought they stayed into the game. I think they managed the game from a standpoint of the organization, the sidelines, out on the field. I thought they did a tremendous job, and we've got to execute better, though, in opportunities. And that's the one thing that, sticks out, because the effort was outstanding on both sides of the ball. We move forward, obviously, to going on the road again, going down to Champaign, and playing Michigan football. And we had a good day yesterday, and plan to have a great week.
Brady.
Okay.
Just wanted to ask about Coker. It seemed like you guys did a good job swarming to him on most of the times. A handful of carries, 10, 12, the 127-yard gain. What was the difference on those carries? Was it a certain play? Was it?
Not really. I think, on the one that got out for the over 20, we didn't secure the gap, to be honest with you, the gap integrity, and we got caught up a little bit inside, and then, we needed to get off a block a little better back in the back end to get him on the ground. But, Tim, I thought most of the game our guys did a nice job of putting hats on him and getting bodies to him. And, he's a strong, powerful guy like we all knew going in. But there was some guys hitting him.
Brady, obviously you wanted to take some carries off of Denard, but his numbers are down. Rushing numbers are down significantly. What do you attribute that to? Is it something with him? Is it something with the offense?
No, I think some of it is, it's a combination of both. Mark, what people are giving you to some degree, how they're going to defend you, how they're going to defend that part of the offense. I thought Fitz, he was banging in there for 3 or 4 yards, and those aren't bad on first downs, It's when you get the negative plays, you don't secure the catch, or you get a tackle for loss that, puts you behind the stakes a little bit. But, I think it's a combination of what people are giving us and allowing us to do. But he's still, a major factor. I think there's a lot of good things he did the other day.
Brady, we're here.
Yeah.
Looking at clock management in the last minute, is there anything that you look back and second guess a little bit in maybe changing the way that the last 4 plays were called because of no timeouts, having maybe not are limiting the Denard run pass option?
No, we talked about that yesterday, and going into the 2-minute at the end, knowing where we were time-wise, timeout-wise, all those things. I thought Al really managed it well, to be honest with you. We had 4 shots at the end zone, 2 of them we have in our hands, I thought it was okay.
What went into the decision to take the ball on opening kickoff? And you had scored on the opening drive for 5 straight games. Are you disappointed with the execution on that particular drive?
Well, yeah, you're always disappointed when you don't score. It's nice to score. It's funner for you. It's funner for me and our kids. We had made a decision because 99.9% of the time we're going to defer when we win the toss. But we had made a decision on Thursday when there was going to be a significant wind called for. And wanting to have the wind in the fourth quarter was something that we really wanted to do. We just got lucky. We won the toss. So we wanted to take the ball instead of defer, thinking that they're going to want the ball. They got first option in the second half. They're going to want the ball. Then we can dictate us having the wind in the fourth quarter if you needed a field goal. So, we thought that thing out pretty hard.
Brady, you used a timeout. I believe it was your first of the second half before Iowa punt after their
Yeah.
illegal snap. What went into that? Did you see maybe a fake on the field?
That was really, I called timeout because I thought we had, I think it was 4th and 4. I thought we had 12 guys on the field.
Did you?
Yeah, no, we didn't. I didn't count very well. And as soon as I called it and I counted, I said, you know what? I hope we don't need that one late. Be honest with you. I mean, that was my you know, I talked about the kids' effort. I got pretty good effort, but I didn't execute on that one very good for them.
You can probably run the ball one of those
You
final
might be
4
able
plays.
to. Might be able to.
Brady,
Yes.
Toussaint was banged up, you said, towards the end. How is his health? Are you expecting him this week?
Yeah, he'll be fine. I mean, he just got banged up a little bit, and when we got into a situation where Vince is more of throwing situations, the 2-minute part of it, you really had the guy you wanted in anyway.
And you mentioned that toward the end. That shotgun 3 wide receiver set, Denard seems a lot more comfortable in that almost whenever you guys are in it. Is that just because that's what he ran that for 2 years, or is that just?
No, because I think it's different. I think I think and when you go what we call NASCAR, which is not 2-minute, there's 2 differences to it. You limit the defense a little bit, you know, and Iowa is not a huge substitution defensive football team, never have been. But you limit them a little bit to what they can do because you've got to, you know, a little more engaged, a little more tempo, and so you limited them a little bit, which I think obviously helped us to some degree. Now we've gone that same thing 3 other times this year. In one game, we were 3 and out. So you use no possession time. We weren't in any kind of situation not to try and score quickly.
That set, the 3 wide receiver shotgun, is that you feel like your team's offensive preferred set at this point in the year?
No.
Mike Martin had an interesting observation after the game, said he didn't have to stress to the younger guys that are playing how important it is to pull together and win because he could see in their eyes how much they wanted to win for the seniors.
Yeah.
Has that been your experience? And talk about the resilience of being able to bounce back.
Well, you know, I think, and you've heard me say this a lot, and I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it. I really like how our seniors have invested into the young guys on this team, into the program, how they've treated each other and how they've challenged each other. And, you know, I think Mike has really blossomed as a senior, as a leader on our football team, and the way he works every day and how he prepares.
Brady, what did Troy do in practice last week to beat out Thomas Gordon at free safety? And considering how much you guys have rotated defensively, is it a little strange that we didn't see Thomas Gordon at all on the defensive side of the ball last week?
I don't know if it'd be strange. I think, you know, we should have taken an opportunity to get him in a little bit, you know, and just didn't for one reason or another. I mean, you know, we just thought, you know, Troy was going to start the football game. Once Jordan came back, we were going to go with those 2 guys, and they'll compete like heck this week on who will be the guy. But, you know, I think there's no real reason for not, you know, it's not like Thomas hadn't made some mistakes or anything.
Brady, when you're trying to bounce back from a difficult loss, is it more difficult to do it on the road rather than a situation when you're coming back home and you're playing in a comfortable situation?
You know, we can't worry about being comfortable, you know, to be honest with you. It's, if the question is, do you like playing at home better than away? I think 100% of the teams in the country are going to say, you know, it's always nice to play at home. But I think our kids are pretty daggone resilient, and I think they'll be in good shape.
You talked about last week the challenges of playing at Iowa. What are some of the challenges of playing at Champaign?
Well, I think it's very similar. You know, I think it's going to be I know it's going to be sell out. In fact, I think they're bringing extra bleachers in or something like that, and it's Michigan. I mean, if you're Michigan, you're going to get people's best. It's just the way it is, and it's a good thing. So it'll be fun.
Coach, to your left. So Jake Ryan didn't start the game. Can you talk about the decision?
No, he did start the game.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But he played maybe less than half the snaps?
Well, he got a burner the first play of the game.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Brady, over here. Back to the Gordon thing for a second. Is that difficult to take a guy who at that point was your third leading tackler, leading guy who recovered 3 fumbles this year, off the field in a starting position?
It is, but you got to feel pretty good about the guy who's on the field, too. So, I mean, it all comes down to competition and where guys are. And, Thomas is a competitor.
Does that send a message that it's more what you do in practice than what you do on Saturdays? Because you've been so opportunistic during
but
games.
You better do it during practice. I mean, our guys are going to practice like they play. There is no game player. That's a myth. If you prepare and you prepare the way you're supposed to prepare, then you're going to play well.
So it's fair to say that Troy outperformed Thomas in practice?
Yeah, he had a better week.
Brady,
Tim.
you talk about expectations for a position.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us about your expectations for the quarterback position and how those have been or have not been met this season?
Oh, I think I think we've progressed. I think, I thought Denard played a really good football game. He tried to make a play and lost the ball. End of the first half, he throws a slant in there, whether, there was contact made or not. Obviously, there wasn't. You look how he set his feet and how he threw the football, how he managed the offense. I thought he grew. I think I said it after the game. I think, he grew as a quarterback. And in those environments, I think that's when you do grow.
Brady, this is not to ask you to comment on officiating, but did you at least get an explanation? Because there's been a lot of discussion about what the call was on Hemingway's. We were trying to figure out, did they get called out of bounds? Did it get called that his hands didn't catch it? We're just trying to get a clarification and hope maybe you got one.
Not true, not completely yet. Have I gotten that explanation yet? I mean, being honest with you, on the field, there's not enough time for him to come up and, and they're not going to take the time to come up and say, this is what we, decided. And, they reviewed it and went through the proper channels and all that stuff. I think, it's just the way it goes.
Is there a person that this week, I mean, not that you're going to look in the past and say, but is there a person you say like, okay, I'd like to know what the ruling was and who do you get that from?
Yeah, we'll get it from the conference office. I mean, we always, every week there's a play here or there. Why is it call that a hold? Or it might be anything, and it's just part of the game. And we always try and get, is that the right call? Why did they call it more than anything?